we'll jump into the plan for the night. So it's been a year of the Canadian Cheese Collective. So Kelsie and I wanted to just, raise whatever glass you have and say thank you for joining us. We've had, I think this is our 8th session. Cheers. Thank you for joining us. This is our 8th session. We did take a break in the summer last year. Things got a little crazy, and I think that was just the only way that the two of us could manage it. I think we're hoping to, in our first year, I think we're hoping to do a little bit of a better job at being on top of announcing the dates and the plan for the dates a little bit more ahead. And I think we're going to try and do the full year. Maybe we'll take 1 month off in the summer. I don't know. We haven't really talked about that. We know, vacation season is tough for everybody. And December will never be. There will never be a Canadian Cheese Collective meeting in December. We know you guys are hustling. But yeah, thank you for a year of this. It's been fun, and I feel like we've accomplished a few things that we set out to do. And Kelsey's going to start with just a quick little recap of what we did in the first year.
Perfect. Thanks, Erin. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining. It's so nice to see all of you and hear about all those wonderful cheeses that you had over the holidays. So Erin and I are just going to quickly do a recap. So a year ago now was our very first Canadian Cheese Collective call, and we had Daniel Wood, who's on here today. Hey, Daniel, joining us from Salt Spring Island. And we had Lindsay Linkletter joining us from Cow's Creamery out in PEI. So we kind of came up with the concept of this one because every time we talk with people from across Canada in the cheese industry, people say they feel isolated. They feel like they're working alone on an island. So we thought it would be fitting to have 2 people who are literally working in cheese on islands join us for the first call. And we did a little recap about working in cheese throughout the pandemic and how the pandemic affected Salt Spring Island Cheese and Cow's Creamery. And it was a fantastic first coast to coast celebration of cheese, because we even had somebody joining us from, I believe, the Yukon on the call as well.
Sure, Laura was here from the Yukon for that one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the next meeting was with Allison from Les Amis du Fromage in Vancouver. Allison's on the call tonight too. And we had Alex Porras from Fromagerie Hamel in Quebec, in Montreal. And that was a great call. People really loved that conversation, getting to hear 2 different perspectives of retail, what it takes, what it's been like. Allison, you've been doing this for how many years now? 35. I apologize for starting with the 2. Yeah, it's an incredible number of years, and we have a lot to learn from Allison. And that was a great conversation, and people loved talking to Alex as well, and hearing what Fromagerie Hamel has been up to. He wrote a book, a training manual for his staff, and started rolling that out within the stores. I think we should do a follow-up conversation with you, Alex, to see how that's been going since you started using the book and making it work. And that was an awesome conversation. And then
for the next one, we had Ramon Eberl from Stonetown Cheese join us, and Peter Van Uden-Arnen from Mariposa Dairy, and wanted to have a couple of perspectives on making cheese with different milk types. So Peter making cheese from goat and sheep's milk, and Ramon being an expert at cow's milk cheese, specifically of the Swiss style. So he grew up in a Swiss cheese making family and has taken his expertise from Switzerland, where he got the Master Cheesemaker accreditation. And he's taken them to St. Mary's, Ontario, making some fantastic cheese. So it was a wonderful conversation. And I know a number of people here have reached out to Ramon for some cheese making advice and tips and tricks. He's a real expert at what he does. So please keep in touch with him if you have some questions, because he's eager to help.
Yeah, and I was there last week, and they are the most welcoming people, and really proud of what they're doing. So they're happy to show off their space. If you haven't been yet, just send them an email, and they would love to have you for a visit, I'm sure. The next meeting we had David Asher, who is a world-renowned traditional cheese advocate and author of The Art of Natural Cheesemaking. That was another fascinating conversation. I think people were really kind of glued to their computer screen to see what he was going to talk about next. And he took us through the entire natural cheese making process, including like harvesting rennet. And, we talked a little bit about having to kill calves and the different processes that, different parts of the process that people aren't so comfortable always talking about. We talked a little bit about cultures, freeze-dried cultures, and why they're a little bit controversial in the cheese world. And yeah, that was a pretty cool conversation. I'm a big fan of David Asher, and I think hopefully some of you followed him on Instagram too. He's at Black Sheep School. Is that right? Black Sheep School, I think. And he offers really cool natural cheese making classes around the world, sometimes in Canada.
The next meetup we had was a fun one. It was, I mean, they're all fun, but this one in particular was a trivia night. And we had 5 guest speakers join us to ask some trivia questions. We had Debbie Levy and Lisa McAlpine speaking about the Royal Winter Fair and cheese competitions. We had Emily Greengrass from Plaisir Gourmet join, talking about Quebec cheese. We had Joe Del Ferro from Finica Foods talking about importing cheese. And we had David Baudouin from Dairy Farmers of Canada. So a great group of people talking about all kinds of cheesy trivia and knowledge. And we had a fantastic response to that. And a little more to come from that soon, a little sneak peek of what's going to be coming later today. So we'll circle back to that one later.
Yeah. Hi, Lindsay. Welcome. And then the last meeting of the year, we finally got our act together in the fall and put together a meeting with Mary Ann Ferrer from the University of Guelph. She, am I missing one? Did we skip one? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to say that one and you can say the other one, okay?
You do the other one because it's
okay. Okay, so sorry, I missed one. We talked with Alex Horace again, because he's a two-timer and he's the only guy that we've had on here so far. And we're a big fan of Alex and what he does at Fromagerie Hamel. And we had a conversation about like, what does it take to win the holiday season? That might have been a little late in the year. We probably should have hosted that one earlier so that we could really, help people make some plans for the holiday season. I don't know, show of hands, did you win the holiday season this year? Allison saying yes. I've heard from most of my customers across the country, and it was a tough Christmas for some, a decent one for others, and maybe not so good for some others. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to talk about pricing. Cheese prices, where are they going and what's happening? How much further can we expand them? I don't know. Anyways, that was an interesting conversation with Alex. And sorry, I ruined what last was. Kelsie.
Yeah, no problem. And then the last call that we had was with Mary Ann Ferrer from the University of Guelph. She's the dairy scientist there, and had a fantastic conversation with her about her life and career in cheese. She was speaking about the University of Guelph's new cheese making pilot plant. They've got some really cool equipment there, teaching people how to make cheese hands-on. She was talking about their brand new cheesemaker certificate program, and she has written a book with Professor Art Hill, the Cheesemaking Technology ebook. So much that we covered there with Mary Ann, and I'm sure we could fill many more sessions speaking with her. So, yeah, without further ado, right. Erin, back to you to we've been looking backwards, but what's coming up in 2023?
Yeah. Okay, so Kelsie and I had a fun planning, putting our heads together. Oh, let's everybody welcome David Baudouin when he comes in. He's coming in. I think everybody knows him. Hi, David. Okay. So the first meeting, so at the end of the last meeting, we asked you guys, what do you want to see in the new year? And so we listened, we wrote everything down and had a conversation about, what can we do? Who do we think could like really benefit this community and make us think maybe? And so the first person that we have lined up, if you'll add this to your calendar, February 27th, we've got Trevor Warmdahl, which is also known as Milk Trekker on Instagram, if you follow him. We are super excited to talk to this such an interesting guy. He's been traveling the world. Everybody say hello and welcome. My boss, Jean Danielle, has joined the building. Yeah, so we've got Trevor, aka Milk Trekker, lined up. And he has been like living out of a backpack, sleeping in shepherd huts in like, where has he been? He's been to Spain. He's been all through the UK.
Sicily, most recently.
Sicily,
Sardinia.
And where was he was he in Turkey?
I believe so.
Georgia, I believe, no?
Georgia, yes, exactly. And this guy is sort of like, he's really good friends with David Asher, natural cheesemaking aficionado as well. They definitely partner often. And he has seen some of the most fascinating stuff with nomadic style cheesemaking in far-flung places in the world. So we want to know what you want to know about him and his process as well. If you have any questions, specific questions that you would like us to work into the conversation, shoot us an email. We're just kind of building that question right now. And I'm excited to talk to him. He won this year's Daphne Zeppo's Teaching Award grant as well. So he's been given, is it $5,000 still?
I believe so, yeah.
$5,000 to support his mission in life, which I think is to study abo salmons, which are the stomach that you get rennet from. That's what he's the most passionate about. So we're lucky to have him joining us. I'm excited. And Kelsie, what's after that?
So I just quickly want to mention Milk Trekker there was a request from Maria. So Maria, you're on video there. So thanks for requesting that. Just want everybody to know, like, if there's somebody that you want on here as a guest speaker, please let us know, because we take it seriously and we'll track them down and find them and convince them to join. So thanks for that request. And before we move on, I just want to very quickly shout out Maria and Lawrence's very yummy crowdy. It's a Scottish style cheese spreadable, similar to like a cream cheese, but like very lactic and tangy tasting. It was really cool. I got to visit their facility on the weekend, and so nice to see new cheesemakers popping up around here. So congratulations on your new facility there.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look you guys up. Yeah. Take it in jazz hands.
All right. So Erin, did you mention the date for Trevor?
Yeah, so Trevor is February 27th. We, due to work travel, etc., couldn't do something earlier in the month. So there's a little gap. There's like a 5 or so week gap before the next one, but hopefully you'll put it in your calendar and join us. We think we're probably going to take the full hour and a half that night, just simply because there's going to be a lot of questions for Trevor, especially about what his plan is to use his money going forward for Daphne Zeppo's. And yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All
right. The following one will be exactly 4 weeks after that, March 27th from 7 until 8:30. And we can't spill all the details yet. We're still looking to finalize who, but we've got somebody coming from one of the top artisan cheese companies in the world, going to be talking about managing rinds at the retail level. So how do you...
Yeah, specifically at the retail level. How do you manage your rinds in the retail level? And sorry, I'm really super excited about this one. I get questions from people all the time. What's going on with this rind? What should I do about it? Is this scary? Is this okay to sell still? We're going to answer all of that.
And then for the cheesemakers on the call, they will also be speaking about best practices for cheesemakers to communicate to mongers. So from maker to monger, how do you care for that cheese? How do you manage the microbes, the bacteria, the rinds on that? How do you present it to customers in the best way possible that reflects the cheesemaker's intentions? So super, super excited for that.
Yeah.
More details to come real soon. We're just finalizing a few things here.
One thing I was thinking about that particular meeting, I know it's a hard time. Mondays at 7 p.m. There's no perfect time to get everybody on this call, especially when it's such a big country. But that meeting in particular would be a really good one for some of your staff, especially like your lead cheesemonger, to join us. And again, if there's questions about, how to implement training on something like rinds or how to take care of the cheese at the retail level, let us know what the questions are ahead of time. And you can use this as a free training source for some of your more senior cheesemongers.
Actually, just on that for a second, please invite them to everyone.
Yes.
Every one of our meetings. So we challenge you to bring one new person to these meetings each time. So we'd really love to get more people attending these, more people learning, and more people part of this community. So please reach out, bring other people, bring your coworkers, bring other people in your
Cheese world,
and let's grow these.
Yeah, we started out at the start of last year with about 75 people. And the next one dropped to mid 60s. And we were like, wow, this is incredible. Like, we never thought we'd have this many people show up in the beginning. And then it kind of like dropped off from there. And, many of you that are on the call tonight have been here for every single meeting. And we really, really appreciate that. But we want to see this grow. And we feel like we can really offer something to your young staff, your community in general. You're part of a community in Canada, and we want to keep this connection going. We need everybody's help to grow it, though. That's the pitch.
Yes.
David, you're hired. You're our marketing person officially.
And hype guy.
Hype guy. Yes. We can't pay you anything, sorry.
All good. I'm used to it.
So the following meetup, please write April 25th from 7 until 8 p.m. in your calendars. So we are going to be joined once again by Joe Del Ferro. He's the president of Finica Fine Foods, and he's going to be speaking to us about importing cheese. So we had a fantastic response to his when he joined us for the trivia night. And a lot of people have questions like, how does cheese make it to Canada? How does it make it to the shelf in stores? What's the process for bringing it across the ocean, through customs, managing currency exchanges, working through government regulations and price fluctuations overseas? It's a pretty volatile time right now, and I think it's going to be a fascinating conversation with Joe. So please pencil that one in, April 25th, 7 till 8 p.m. Very excited to have Joe join us.
Okay, Allison is asking a question that I've been asked, we've both been asked before. Yes, we record these sessions. A couple of them did not record to the cloud and got lost. A couple of them are up on a YouTube channel. And yes, that is something that we are going to do a better job of in 2023. Yeah, it's this takes a bit of time and energy from Kelsie and I, and it's something we took on. It may have been a bit much at times for us to keep going with it, but we kind of know what we're doing a little bit better now, and so yeah, we'll try and keep these sessions But we do yes, you can share that with people, but we do really want you to participate the night of as much as possible, because it's kind of what we're doing this for. There was a suggestion by somebody to turn this into a podcast. And, while we understand why, that would probably be easier for everybody to just listen when, it's convenient for you. That unfortunately negates the community that we're trying to build. And so we're gonna hold firm on that and say, nope, not turning it into a podcast. We want you to join us and communicate with us and ask questions and participate. So that's how I feel about that. But yes, we are going to try and keep it on the YouTube channel so that you can share it with people who just can't make it.
Yep. Wendy,
Okay.
thanks for that quick date correction. It is April 24th, which is the Monday, not the 25th. Awesome. So one thing that Erin and I have really wanted to make a point of is making this accessible for everyone. We know, cheesemongers and cheesemakers aren't necessarily rolling in dough, so we don't have any membership fees. We're trying to cover the costs ourselves and keep costs minimal. But with trying to branch out and bring in some international guests, and do some other things, we're going to kick off a fundraising campaign soon. We don't have the details of it yet, but there's a few exciting things that we want to do. So right now, Erin and I are covering all the costs. So there's Zoom and domain hosting and a few other things. We're not looking to get paid at all. This is not for us to make money at all. But we're going to kick off a fundraising thing soon. And Erin's going to explain why and what we will do with that.
I am, but I have to shout out Kevin Durkee, who just said in the chat room, he's in Spain. It's 1:28 a.m. there, and he's there until February 4th. And he's dropped his WhatsApp number if anybody, I suppose in the GTA, wants him to smuggle anything back for them. This is the kind of devotion to the cheese community that I'm talking about. So, I mean, that's great. How about some raw milk, like rennet, thistle renneted, something, sheep, something. Okay, so fundraising. So we like to pay, we kind of feel like we need to pay our international guests for their time. I think that's fair. We have had some Canadian people contribute to the sessions that we mentioned earlier. And the hope is that any Canadian speaker would, see it as contributing to the community and teaching us all about their expertise. But when it's an international guest, we feel that they should be paid for their time. We're looking at $100 US per session. It's not a lot, but it's something. It's at least a token of appreciation for an hour and a half, possibly more like 2 hours of their time and answering our questions. So that's the first thing that we want to fundraise for. The second thing, we're in the process of teaming up with the American Cheese Society, which is super, super exciting. This is an organization that is already existing. One of the issues with getting to the American Cheese Society conference every year is that it's very expensive to do so. You're talking about a flight to who knows where. This summer it's in Des Moines, Iowa, which is, there's not regular flights to Des Moines, Iowa from most Canadian cities. It's going to probably be a multi-flight situation. There's the conference fee and hotel, and that's just to be there for 4 days. And none of that's cheap. And so we would like the fundraising to also support somebody from our community going to the American Cheese Society this summer. And so we're looking at a fundraising goal of that for $3,400. That's about what it would take Canadian to get somebody there. And the good thing about working with the ACS on this is that they're supportive in, offsetting the costs of the conference. And there's a whole structure already in place there. Neither Kelsie nor I want to touch the money. That is sort of neither of us want to deal with the money. So we're looking at ways to make this happen so that we can get somebody from our community there. And you guys are all going to fund it, and hopefully some other people and us all donate to it as well. So that's what we're thinking. That's what we're planning.
Yeah. And just to be clear, these are always going to be free. And by doing the fundraising, we'll be able to pay international guest speakers and help people get to the American Cheese Society conference. But to come to these events, no charge. So that's something that is really important to Erin and I. And the reason why we want to help people get to the American Cheese Society conference is Erin and I have both been a number of times, and I know there's a number of people here that have been many, many times as well. And it's just such an invigorating, inspiring experience being there and seeing the camaraderie and the community and the friendships that people build over cheese. And everybody works together as part of the same community to learn and grow their industry. And I think there's so much that we can learn from what they're doing. And we'd love to have other people, you, to all have that same experience as well, and to go and experience the American Cheese Society conference. It's really quite the event. So speaking about the American Cheese Society, Erin and I have also submitted a presentation application. We don't know whether it's going to be accepted.
You just read my mind. It wasn't in our notes to talk about this, but you read my mind.
No, it is. It's right there. It's got my name beside it.
Oh, that's why I didn't read it. Sorry.
So we've submitted a submission to talk to do a presentation, actually, with a couple of folks from Mexico. They formed the Coalición de Queso Mexicana. Ify's laughing because I'm butchering the Spanish, but that's going off of memory anyways. Anyways, I'm learning French, not Spanish. So they this year started a national organization in cheese as well. They want to create a national organization to represent Mexico, and Erin and I have done the same thing with Canada. So we want to share that with the US and explain like what's going on here in Canada. We've got so much to be proud of. Such a great community, and we want to share our goals of building community and helping everybody access cheese education. So it's kind of neat talking to the folks in Mexico about it, because their goals are a little bit different. They want to understand from like a statistics perspective, like they want to quantify like the number of cheesemakers, like how many artisan cheesemakers are there? They just don't have that data. They want to understand like how many different kinds of cheese and what the scale of the facilities are. And then they want to look at doing like a PDO or DOP designation for Mexico and recognizing some traditional Mexican cheeses. So we've got very different goals, but I think there's a lot that we can learn from each other and learn from the ACS and vice versa as well. So that is on the plan for the summer, crossing our fingers that gets accepted, because we'd love to share that internationally. And usually at the American Cheese Society conference, there's about 30 to 40 Canadians. And we have a little meetup there, a little gathering. So I encourage everybody to attend. And if you do, hopefully we can meet up in person and have an unofficial Canadian Cheese Collective meetup. So that's on our wish list. We'd love to see you all in person one day soon.
Yeah, the American Cheese Society is, not just for the United States of America. It's for the Americas. And we're not maybe as represented as we could be or should be. And so I think Kelsie and I's goal is to wave the Canadian flag a little bit more, and just have more presence within that community and kind of tag along, because they've got some incredible resources that we really should be tapping into more. And so on that same train of thought, they just announced that it's the ACS judging competition, the entries are now open for this year's competition. It is not held at the conference anymore. It's held in, what did we just say? It's in Minnesota, right? Minnesota, yeah, in the spring. It's totally a separate entity now. And I think last year was the first year, and I think it went really well. Controlling that amount of cheese along with the conference, like we're talking, I think it was like 7 reefer trucks full of cheese almost every year. That's a crazy, crazy amount of cheese. And to manage that on top of the conference is just insane. So they separated it into 2 different events, and they announced the winners at the competition, the conference, I believe, right? So the competition is open, and we would love to see more of our amazing Canadian cheese producers enter this competition in particular. So who do you know that's a cheesemaker that wants to enter a competition at the American Cheese Society? I think we could have way more winners at that competition, moving forward. Cow's Creamery has done exceptionally well at the American Cheese Society over the years. Do we have anybody else on this call that has entered and done quite well? I'm not sure. Daniel, have you guys ever entered the American Cheese Society competition?
No, we entered a competition one time, many, many years ago, and we didn't win. And I said, no, never again.
Yeah. It can be a tough journey for sure. But, it's about showing off the quality that we do have. Yeah, Jeremy Lago, Celtic Reserve won. That's right. Yeah, it did.
One big challenge for Canadian cheesemakers is shipping their cheese to the ACS. I remember when I was in Pittsburgh judging, ACS members told me, unfortunately, a lot of Canadian cheese got stuck at the border. So there needs to be a central location in Canada that would receive all the Canadian cheese with the company truly having great knowledge and experience in doing all the paperwork. So it gets through the border and then down to the US. There's the same thing when ACS had the conference in Montreal. There was a lot of cheese stuck at the US Canadian border to get to Montreal.
It's true. Yeah, there's been a lot of challenges in the past, but I think we've also used those experiences to learn from them, and hopefully we can move forward in a more positive direction.
What does the ACS suggest? Are they suggesting a Canadian location for all the cheese to get to, and then one company doing all the paperwork?
They are. Yeah. So I'm working with the judging and competition committee, and they're working on fast tracking Canadian entries to the US and having them go to one location in Canada and then cross the border together. So more info on that, but they have a contact at US Customs, and we're going to try to find a way to continue to improve the ease at which Canadian cheeses can cross the border to enter the competition.
Yeah, I think we can learn from those past situations for sure.
Yeah.
So, where are we now, Kelsie? We're getting to the end of our session today.
We are close. Okay, judging competition. Okay, so up next, one other thing about the American Cheese Society Conference is each year they host a certified cheese professional exam. And currently there are 21 certified cheese professionals in Canada. And Erin and I are both CCPs, as we're known. And we're big believers in this certification. It's a certification that tests everything from some farming knowledge to cheese making and affinage, distribution, merchandising, marketing, and selling of cheese. It's very a broad exam that looks at many aspects of the cheese industry. And I love this exam just for the personal challenge of reaching out to new aspects of the industry that you might be unfamiliar with, and just learning about how the rest of the industry operates. So ever since I got mine back in 2013, every year after that, I have helped people study and prepare for the exam. And we're going to be kicking off some study sessions again, probably next month. And I'd like to put it out there that if there's anybody here that is interested in studying to take the exam, you're welcome to join our study sessions. So I won't be teaching, but rather guiding to help you prepare for it. And there's going to be readings that you can do and prepare for the exam. I've got some practice tests prepared that will help get everybody comfortable for taking an exam. I know for many of us, it's been a few years since we've taken an exam. And this one is 150 multiple choice questions. And Wendy's on the call, and Wendy's also a certified cheese professional, of course. So it's 150 multiple choice questions. There's no trick questions, but they're challenging questions. As I said, it tests across many different aspects of the cheese industry. Girth, I see you've got a hand up.
Yeah, question. So yeah, I know about the ACS or CCP, and then there's the Academy of Cheese in England that offers their cheese certification program. How comparable, how similar are they? And is there a benefit of one over the other?
They're very different, in my opinion. So the Level 1 Academy of Cheese is, I think it's 25 or 30 questions. So much smaller. And we're going to dive into my nerdy certification knowledge here. I used to be on the certification committee for the American Cheese Society. So the American Cheese Society is a certification because they test on a broad general range of knowledge, whereas the Academy of Cheese is a certificate because they have specific course material to learn, and then you're tested on that material. So two different things. With the CCP, you're just learning from all the knowledge that is out there, as opposed to one set book or website to learn from. And then with the Academy of Cheese, they have also developed their own lexicon, their own language for describing the different styles of cheese. And there's some nuance that's very British with the Academy of Cheese. So there's some different terminology between what they use and what we use here in Canada. So I recommend the certified cheese professional because it's closest to the language and the knowledge that we need and use here in Canada.
This is a great resource for any of your lead cheesemongers or really anybody working in the cheese industry can benefit from the course. If anybody within your organization or you guys have a question about it for either of us, either Kelsie or I would answer from our experience for sure. Somebody asked what the fee is. I don't think the fee has gone up, but it is, substantial enough. It's $500 for the exam. And through the pandemic time, months, years, I guess, maybe only once, they offered it over, with what was the software that they used, Kelsie? It was a proctoring software so that you could do it over Zoom or whatever the service was. And then they got rid of that, unfortunately, last year and made it mandatory to do the exam in person again. And that's been difficult. And that has, taken away some of the accessibility of doing the exam. And so I think there's a few of us who are strongly recommending that they bring back online CCP testing. And I don't know if we're going to be successful in getting that to pass or not. But as it stands right now, you have to pay not only the test fee, but also fly yourself there and at least one night in a hotel. You don't have to go to the conference, but it would be a real shame to go and write the test, which is on the first day, just before the conference, and then not be there for the conference as well. So that's something that Kelsie and I both feel pretty strongly about. They need to offer this as an online option.
Yeah. So we provided that feedback to them, and I'm quite certain that they will be offering an online one again this year. So starting this year, because it's a major cost to go there in person and not accessible to everyone. So in the chat there, I see Annabella asks, how can we sign up for your study sessions? Annabella, you've got my email address, so just send me a message and I'll send you more info. And anybody here, if you're interested in learning with us, please send us a note. You can either send it to me directly or to Canadian Cheese Collective, the email address where you got the email for this with this invite. So there are some prerequisites for the exam, and you have to apply and show that you have 4,000 hours of experience working in cheese, which is the equivalent of 2 years full time, or it could be part time for several years. So just an FYI.
So that's it for tonight. We would love to hear your thoughts and comments. This is the next 3 months that we've kind of laid out for you. Hopefully there's some stuff in there that you are excited to participate with. If you have any questions for any of those sessions that we just mentioned, we would love to hear what you want to know, because we really try and make these sessions for you guys and what would benefit you and your staff, or what you're working with right now. But yeah, any questions or feedback from tonight? Let's hear it. Or if you just want to say
Very
hi.
well. I just want to say this is awesome.
Hi,
I
David.
think what you've got the coming months are pretty great things to touch on. And I think we'll all learn, even though we know many, there's always more to know about cheese. So
Yeah.
it's really good. And the only thing is, like, it's 4 p.m. my time, so it's always very challenging on my end. So anyway, I'll do my best.
I know I wish that we could just somehow make it the perfect ideal time for everybody. We know it's tough, but if we move it one way or the other, it's not good for somebody.
Yeah.
So
4 p.m. in BC is 8 p.m. in PEI.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'll comment, I guess, on the timeline. We are actually going to try and, if we can do some sessions in just 1 hour, we're going to. We've heard some of you say, especially those on the East Coast that are ready for bed soon. We've heard some of you say that it can be a little late. I mean, you're welcome to bow out whenever you need to. Of course, we're thrilled to see you guys, but if you can't stay for the whole time, of course, we understand. But yeah, we're going to try and keep some of them tight if we can. And some of them will just be a little bit longer. And I think that's how we're going to roll.
And as I saw, this is being recorded. Where is this then being posted? Is it on YouTube or?
Yeah, we
So
talked about that just a little bit earlier this evening. We're going to do our best to get that on the YouTube channel. I'm not going to promise how quickly it's going to go up there. But yeah, we're going to aim for, I don't know, within a couple weeks, I would say, of posting it. And yeah, that's a goal for us for this year.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. This has been.
And just before everyone leaves, I put in the chat box, there is a cheese competition in conjunction with CL Toronto here in May. So for any cheese maker, I know Yannick participated last year in Montreal. For the cheese makers, more details will be coming out soon. You do not have to participate at the show, at the trade show. You can just submit your cheese to the competition. So more details to follow.
Awesome. Thanks, Garth. Thank you, Nancy. It's nice to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. I know it's, we're like 2 weeks in and whatever, everybody's over it, but Happy New Year. I hope this added something to your Monday. It's nice to see everybody's faces, even just for a little smile and a wave. You're
I think
welcome,
this is a
Roxanne.
huge undertaking, and thank you, Kelsie and Erin, for doing this, because it's amazing to actually have a community and that we get to talk and we get to see each other, and making it even bigger. I think for the next few years is going to be challenging, but it's amazing, right? So thank you for
Trying.
putting in all of that work.
Yeah, one of our challenges is that Kelsie is, kudos to Kelsie. He's trying to better his French. I'm not even there yet. And I feel like ashamed all the time. It's something that I need to do. One challenge is trying to make this bilingual so that more people from French-speaking Canada could participate a little bit easier. And so we're really open to recommendations. If anybody out there has got some idea that they're sitting on that would make this better somehow, or to get more people out, we are all ears. We just want to grow it and have a little bit of fun, and hopefully people can learn. Yes, good night, Kevin. What is it, 2 a.m. now? Good night. Yeah.
I want a stomach. I want a stomach.
Yeah. You want a stomach? You want to?
I do. I really do.
Okay.
They're amazing, actually. They're really amazing to work with. I've worked that with David Asher, and it was like really, really cool how potent it works and how potent it tastes. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Can you clarify what you're talking about for some people who might not understand what you mean by I want a stomach? What do you mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just to gather and use rennet. You need the calf stomach, or it could be from any animal. And it's kind of illegal to get. So that's why he's got to get it through somewhat in the luggage. But after it's been dried, salted even, for over a year, if not up to 3 years sometimes, from what I understood. There's a lot of work into it, but that's how we get a rennet, truly.
Can you imagine being the customs agent who would find that in your luggage?
Yeah, maybe you can try to explain that it's something else than what it is. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I look like salt cod.
It's a particular looking piece of flesh, dried flesh.
Yeah. And when you get it and it still has the coagulated milk in it, because most of them do, it's very, very potent to taste.
Did you get to try that with David Asher at
Yeah, an experience of a lifetime.
Worth
That taste
the price?
doesn't come out of your mouth fast, let me tell you.
Oh. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd be able to do it. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, you would.
Nice. Well,
Is there I have another question, but is there like a group of people that is going to the American Cheese Society and would like block a bunch of rooms or organize transportation or something through maybe this, because that makes a big difference? For me, it's always like every year I have gigs, so I need to make sure I block that time so I don't work. And but I would much rather going with a bunch of awesome Canadian people that know how good their cheese are. And yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
we should definitely
thing.
we should rent a bus
A
and just all
bus?
go together. Yeah, that's what we
Who
should
has
do.
a
Nice.
bus license?
That would be amazing. Well, like a huge Canadian bus, like a huge red bus with Canadian flags everywhere. That would be
I
really
mean-
fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Crazier things have happened, It's not
Well,
totally.
first a convoy across the country, and we all meet, I guess, in Quebec, Alexandre? And then we go from there.
And we all bring curds with us.
Oh yeah,
Good
yeah.
squeaky curds
Yeah.
from different
Another
parts of the country.
kind of Canadian convoy. I like it.
We'll make poutine along the way. Yeah.
Well, that's it.
That is actually one of the benefits of having a community like this, you know, when something like that comes along, we have already some sort of platform to be able to have, you know, maybe we can arrange something like that. It's a lot easier once we're all connected to get something like that together, you know, relatively quickly. Kelsey's smiling. I think he's enjoying where this is going.
I'm just loving the.
Kelsie, are you still on the judging committee?
I was on the certification committee, and I've no longer on that. I'm on the Guild Leaders Network Committee.
Now, the reason why I was mentioning that is that when I judged at in Wisconsin in 2020, they actually just created a cheddar curd category.
Oh.
And, you know, fascinating to see what are the different curds. Now, I know definitely it would be very difficult. It'd be impossible to send fresh curd from Canada to get judged. But again, you know, so an interesting possibility.
Absolutely.
You have to airdrop it in like the day of the competition somehow.
Delivered by drone.
Yeah.
Amazon's.
Yeah. Well, this has been wonderful. It is so great to connect with all of you, and so exciting to hear all of your ideas and your vision and your excitement for the years ahead. You know, I'm just going to go back to one thing that Erin mentioned is we'd really love to get cheesemakers and mongers from Quebec more involved. And I know language is a big part of the challenge, but like Nancy, Yannick, Alex, JD, if any of you have any ideas, or if you want to help us host a meetup totally en français, then we can do that too. So we just want to build some community, and we've got so much to learn from all the great cheesemakers and mongers in Quebec. So let's make it happen.